What's going on, guys? Steve Larson, and I'm going to teach you guys right now. There's only 4 systems you have to be successful in network marketing. You know, it's funny, when I first started teaching this stuff, there was an event I was speaking at. It was in Texas, I think in like 2018, 1,000 network marketers. And I got on stage and I started teaching what I'm going to go through right now with you. I expected the people were going to be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, like unanimously. Instead, I got the weirdest pushback that I hear from network marketers. Not from everybody, but from more than I assumed, right? And it's 1,000 people. The CEO of the network marketing company was there. He was the one that came and asked me to speak in general. What they wanted is they wanted me to come teach how to use the internet in network marketing. Because back in 2018 even, you know, it's funny, that was only, like 7 years ago? There was a period of time where it's like all these companies were just bashing on anyone who would use the internet to go recruit, which is pretty silly if you think about it. But it was just a new concept. And so you had this situation where all these successful uplines were like, well, that's not how I grew, so that's not what I'm going to teach. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to belittle and badmouth. I'm going to bash using the internet. And I was kind of that guy who stood up and said, y'all are dumb. Like, the internet is the hugest distribution channel on the planet. Why would you not use the internet, right? So it was a weird time. And you might have, in fact, let me know in the comments of this if you remember that time, because I absolutely had people in my existing upline at that time who were kind of bashing it and telling me you can't do that here, even though I was and still am. It's common. And any brand new piece of tech that comes out, you'll see and you'll find that there's always going to be this group of people that says, it's like half of our humanity has an addiction to just looking for the boogeyman. For example, you remember I was that generation that did not grow up with smartphones. Like, I didn't get a smartphone until I was 25, mostly because I just didn't want one for a long time, right? Like, I had those Nokia. You remember those Nokia phones? Those old school ones? They had like the snake game on them. You know what I'm talking about? I was that generation that got all that stuff, right? And didn't grow. Aren't you ever just glad you didn't grow up with tech? Holy smokes. I'm so glad I didn't grow up with all this stuff. I don't know how I would have handled it, you know? Anyway, my point is that remember when texting came out? Texting, like just I feel like back in my day, right? You might feel like that as well a little bit, but I'm 37 years old, and I remember when texting first came out, there was like community forums and church groups about texting and how it's the evil, it's the spawn of Satan, and you better, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these belittling, just, oh my gosh, this is terrible. What are we going to do to protect? And sure, every brand new invention that comes out has its pros and its cons, but it's like anything that's new, people just freak out. Have you ever seen the movie The Croods? I love that movie so much because it just perfectly describes, I feel like, what happens with new tech. Remember, and the whole theme is that they're cavemen, and the first caveman wants to go out and experience something new and different, and it freaks everyone out because they're like, what? That's not how we've survived for so long. And so the dad's literally teaching stories saying, one day, the bedtime story is, one day this little girl grew up, she saw something new and died, right? She's just seeing something that was new. And so it's just fear of newness, right? And as funny as that is, I do think that like some of our caveman DNA can start to pop out when you start seeing new pieces of tech, or, you know, hey, there's new strategies that are coming out, and can I go use them in my network marketing business? And I very much understand the concern, but it's also super unwarranted, right? And anytime I hear someone start to downplay or poo-poo on some brand new piece of tech or strategy, in my mind, I'm just like, I don't know if you're an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs are pioneers and entrepreneurs are innovators, and we use these new pieces of tools and tech, right? So anyway, back to the point. Like, I remember when I first started teaching how to use the internet to recruit online, I had a ton of kickback, tons of pushback. People were making posts, making fun of me, like all this stuff. And I got actual hate mail, like physical hate mail, like all this surprising stuff. And some of it was usually coming from 2 places. One was either corporate HQs who just were afraid to adapt and learn. Do you remember that era where network marketing companies were afraid for you to even say their name on the internet? You remember that? I was like, what are you guys talking about? It was so dumb. That era, I'm so glad that era is over, because I started using internet to recruit back in that era, and the landscape has really, really changed. It's changed significantly. Now network marketing companies are like, It's so funny because now I'll ask network marketing companies, are you okay that I asked the same set of questions? In fact, I did a podcast episode, if you like it, if you like this, when I'm talking about the 6 non-negotiables that I have to have when deciding to join a network marketing business. Because if they don't let me do these 6 things, I will not join the company. I don't care how good the product is. I don't care how good the comp plan is. I don't care. There's a podcast that I have on the Secret MLM Hacks Radio. It's audio only, but it's a podcast you guys can listen to. If you look that up, it's the 6 non-negotiables that I have to have if I'm going to join a network marketing business. And a lot of it stems from that era where just companies did not want you to break away from the model of 3-way phone calls, home party meetings, hotel meetings. And I'm not saying those things don't work, but you haven't noticed, people don't use them as much anymore. And so if you're still using them, your strategy is literally stuck in like the 1970s and 80s still. Anyway, so back to the main point. As I was teaching and going through this type of stuff, I got a lot of kickback from it, but it's still the same system. So there's 4 systems, right? What are the 4 systems you have to have regardless of network marketing company, regardless of whatever the product is, high ticket, low ticket, it doesn't matter. And the reason why these 4 systems are so universal, it's because they're actually the 4 systems that all business has to have. All business. And just so you know, as I share these, there is some varying opinions on whether it's 5 systems. I've even heard as much as 8 systems. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm literally right now thinking the role of a marketer and a salesperson. What are the systems that I have to have if I'm going to grow a network marketing downline? Okay, what are those? Number 1, it's leads. Do you have a system that can get leads? Then it's sales. Can you sell some of the leads that you got? Delivery is the 3rd system. Can you deliver what you sold? And then the next is resell/upsell, or sometimes I call it second money. Can you resell or upsell? And what that is a signal of how well you delivered. If someone's willing to rebuy it again and continue to be a customer of yours, right? Leads, sales, delivery, resell, upsell. Those are the 4 systems. If you're going to start thinking more like a business owner, right, which you don't own your network marketing business, and that's not why I'm not sharing this for a reason, then I would add things like finance and HR in there, but that's kind of it. Network marketing is not my real business. I like to build these downlines for fun around products that I like. And most people don't know I'm actually even in network marketing in my real business. Like 99% of my day is spent I've made millions of dollars in my real company, but I still do this because I like it. The reason I'm sharing these with you is because it's not my full-time thing. Network marketing is not. How can I set up my life? How can I set up my systems, those 4 systems, in a way that I don't actually have to spend my full time and attention on it? So, when people say to me, I'm a full-time network marketer, I'm like, cool. If you want to do that, awesome. You don't have to do that. This is good news for those of you who have a full-time job still, or you have a business and you're trying to get a little side hustle up and running, or you get what I'm saying? And so that's the benefit of the way that I like to teach it and talk about network marketing, because it's not typically focused on people who are full-time use my systems still, and it just accelerates them. But if it's still something that you're like, oh, I got all this, I'm still really busy in my life, I got all these things going on, I don't know if I can spend all this time, then great. Then this episode is going to really help. Okay, so what's funny as I say these, literally yesterday, we were going through, I have a consulting practice. I consult 7, 8, and 9-figure businesses on internet sales. And I help companies launch or relaunch their products on the internet and then systemize their marketing so that the business owner doesn't really need to be involved in it. And it's funny because as I go through, and we were going through this yesterday, literally for my consulting business, it's the same freaking systems. It's the same stuff you need in network marketing. Funny enough, the answer to growing an automated downline and an automated revenue, everyone gets obsessed with multiple streams of passive income. I'm like, well, if you look at how 99% of network marketers do it, there's nothing passive about it. They are the lead system. They are the sales system. They are the delivery. They are the resell upsell. They don't have systems. They are the system. Does that make sense? And it's the biggest thing that I teach to these business owners as well, where they're like, well, I have a business. And as I go in, and there's a little auditing tool that I've created to measure the health of those 4 systems in traditional companies, and I use it to point out to the business owner, you don't own a business right now. Right now, the business is still owning you. And the reason is because you can't even go on a vacation while your business can get sales on its own, get leads, get sales, deliver, resell, upsell without you. Does that make sense? And so it's the same 4 systems. You have to have, if you don't have, it doesn't matter. These are business principles that you have to have. All right. And until you have the system, you remain the system. And it's why people can't ever step away. What this requires is for you to kind of elevate beyond just a network marketer and into the mentality more of an actual business owner with business skills. And it's one of the most beautiful aspects of network marketing is that you get kind of this training ground for actual legitimate business systems that you would have to have regardless of what you go do. So if you're planning on having your own like traditional business later on, or you have one now, these are still the things and principles that I go in and teach and share with people and I help them launch. And so my events are all about that. I built $1 million event studio and we teach business owner skills. While I am an internet marketer, I've been an internet marketer for 11 years now and built sales funnels and marketing machines for some of the largest names in our industry. Me as an internet marketer is telling those of you who are network marketers the same thing. Funny, right? So just real quick, one of the, I used to do this in one of my network marketing trainings. In fact, I think it's still in there. I like to have network marketers while I'm also talking to a lot of internet marketers go through the same exercise. And so if you have a piece of paper near you, or even just in your head, you can kind of do this little audits. It's again, one of my favorite ways to smoke out the systems issues that you're experiencing. And the systems issues you might be experiencing are actually what's keeping you from any form of freedom. Isn't it funny? You could be like bathing in cash flow, but you're not actually time free until you have these systems in place. So anyway, I think I've made my argument, but what I want you to do is on a piece of paper or, in the comments down below, or I don't know, in your head, if you're listening to this while you're driving or whatever, create 4 columns. And at the top of each column, you're going to write leads, and then the next one, write sales, right? Then the next one, delivery, and the next one, resell/upsell. As you write those 4 core systems down, these are cash flow systems, right? There's other systems in a business that you go build as a business owner, but these are cash flow systems. As you're going to go write these down, what I want you to do is underneath leads, you're going to rank yourself 1 out of 3. On each one of these, you're going to put down a 1. You're going to score a 1 being bad, 3 being great, okay? A 1 is going to equal that there's just no system, right? And be honest about it, right? You don't gain anything by lying on this. No one, I encourage you to put your answers in the comments below or, send them to me or just share them with someone to just hold yourself accountable. This is an exercise that I often have done even every quarter for my own real company. Cause I'm like, let's take a quick stock of our systems. How are our systems doing? All right, so a 1, you have no system. You have a system when it's documented and somebody else can read it and see it. So whenever I'm designing one of these systems, I'll literally just draw it, like with pictures. I'll be like, well, first a lead comes in here, and then we put them on this list, and then we have this follow-up sequence, and then this is how the sale happens. Now I'm in the sales part of the system building, right? And here's how the sale happens, and here's how we, here's the common objections that we hear to the purchase and how we overcome them. And you're just building SOPs. That's all you're doing, right? You're building systems and SOPs so that you can hand them off to somebody else. I'm going to tell you why this matters in a second, okay? It already matters for the reasons you would think, and what I've said, but there's a bigger reason why I'm telling you to do this, because it'll dramatically affect your company as a network marketer. So a 1, no system. 2, the way you earn and qualify to give yourself a 2 is that there is a system, but you're still kind of required personally to be involved. That's how you get a 2. There is a system, but you're not quite time or cash free from being involved personally. All right. And then the third, the way you score a 3 means you have a system, you're time free, you are cash free, and it can run, 80% of the time without any direct involvement, And as a business owner, I'm never just like set it, forget it, and totally walk. Your job as a business owner, it's so funny because people mess up the word entrepreneur with business owner all the time. They're 2 totally different things. A business owner is in the business of systems. right? It means you own a system that creates a customer. That's what it means. That's all a business owner is. An entrepreneur is the person who created the product. So you are not an entrepreneur when you're a network marketer. What did you entrepreneur? Like, you can become one in network marketing. You start coming up with your own products and lead gen things. You can absolutely become an entrepreneur inside the network marketing, but out of the box, you're not an entrepreneur at all. Did you make the product? Did you, right? No. Did you make the thing that your company sells as a network marketer? No. You're not an entrepreneur. You're a marketer. Completely different role, mindset, skill set, and responsibility. Okay. So I'm hoping this is making sense. Okay. So score yourself out of these 1 through 3 in these 4 different areas. And what you'll start to find is you'll start to see where the biggest bleed in your systems are. And it's literally what's keeping you back from owning an actual asset. It's really funny, it's funny for me to be saying this stuff because literally yesterday I was going through and I was teaching this stuff, to my consulting clients and making sure it's, built out and everything inside my own stuff. And we were going through a systems audit, much like I'm teaching you to do right now. The biggest thing I was trying to help people see is that, when you're an entrepreneur, you're building the business, you're building the product, you're building the piece of value that people want to spend money for, and on for, whatever solution you've created, but it's not an asset yet for the owner. It's only an asset when these systems are in place and they can run without you being involved. That's when this thing becomes an asset. That's when you see someone elevate to the owner's box. So think about it. When you first join a network marketing biz, like the very first company I ever joined, I always try to steer. I'm not ever trying to call out any specific network marketing company, so I'm not going through right now. But there was a company that I joined, and did I own an actual asset even though I recruited 13 people my first month? Without the internet. This is before I was ever using the internet. My first company, I recruited 13 people. I literally walked down Main Street to do it and just started cold calling on people after my friends and family, whoever was going to join was going to join. I recruited those 13 people. Now, was my position in that network marketing company an asset yet? No. To grow it, I literally had to walk down Main Street. It wasn't an asset. There's no passive income. There's no multiple streams of income coming in. That's crazy. It wasn't an asset yet. So how do you transform your network marketing position into an asset, an actual asset? You have to be a business owner, and an owner is in the business of systems, because the systems make the thing run without the owner's direct involvement. Is this helping? Let me know if this is making sense down below, because it's funny. I look at network marketers and they're like, woo, and they're psyched. And it's my favorite thing about the network marketing industry is the belief and the excitement, and how excited people are to there's such amazing belief in the products, and that's great, and your passion matters, but you don't own anything. As a network marketer, you have no say in the products. You have no say in its branding, the pricing. You can barely even touch fulfillment, because half the time these companies just print and ship or whatever for you, right? They handle fulfillment and ship out to your customers for you most of the time, right? You don't even own your position in your downline. Like, they can legally kick you out. I'm not trying to freak you out, but the way this becomes an asset is with systems, these 4 systems. So the reason I'm harping on this so hard with you guys is because by you going out and developing a system that attracts people into your downline and attracts people to your network marketing product to purchase, you're not just solving it for you. Who else are you solving that problem for? Anybody that you recruit. Same thing when you start developing a sales system, your own sales, right? And start with the scripts that your network marketing give you, right? The network marketing company, but they don't often give you the greatest scripts. They have to give you a script that's super vanilla, that handles a gazillion backgrounds and tons of demographics and psychographics. You know what I mean? Like, the script that your network marketing and your upline give you most of the time is a script and a set of sales materials that is meant for tens of thousands of downline people. It's a blanket script. What your job is in the sales area is to start coming up with, your own set of sales assets and sales materials. And I've seen very few, there are some that do it. Very few people, very few network marketing downlines or uplines ever start venturing down this path. They just continue to it's a numbers game, but man, your numbers can really change, including the numbers in your wallet, if you start learning how to actually sell and you start developing your own sales materials. That's your job in the sales department of your own business as you start creating these systems for your own downline. Delivery. I'm using the word delivery, the delivery system number 3. I'm using the word delivery very intentionally here. Fulfillment and delivery are not the same thing. If I go buy a ticket to a theme park, fulfillment looks like me getting on the roller coaster. Delivery looks like Disneyland. It's the experience that you have between the rides. It's where you're developing customer experience. That's what people are buying. They're not just buying the thing that they bought. What they're buying is they want to have a good time while they use the thing that they bought. Does that make sense? This is a really, really big deal to understand. The difference between fulfillment and delivery is the difference between someone sticking around on your product and continuing to use it for months and years versus just trying it out for a little while. The product was good, but the customer service sucked. Or, the product was great, but I don't know, I just didn't like how long it took to get it. Or, you know what I mean? Delivery is a completely different thing than fulfillment. And your job as a network marketer is to develop better delivery for the people who've given you money and trusted you. Now, your resell and upsell systems. There is a phrase I like to say a lot to just normal traditional business owners, which is that second money is much easier than first money. It literally, and this is proven, it costs you like 8 to 10 times more money and energy and effort to find new customers than it does to just retain your existing ones. When you get somebody to join your downline, resell, upsell. How are you continuing to resell them to stay along? Can you upsell them to the next tier if you have another package in your downline or whatever, right? Because I know you can join at different levels, right? Once you get someone in the door, do you have a dedicated documented process to upsell someone into the next tier as a downline member? Do you have a dedicated documented process to resell and / or upsell someone into buying more of the product? Let's say they just came in as a customer and they're just buying the product. I'm almost done driving here. So let me wrap this up. As you are developing these answers for yourself, one of the coolest parts of network marketing, which is very unique to network marketing, is that you are also solving these problems for anybody who joins your downline. And by doing that, you end up creating more of your own recruiting offer. And your recruiting offer is what makes you unique. Meaning, I talked about this on the last episode. My recruiting offer is what makes somebody join from me instead of join somebody else. So when someone joins my team, I can confidently tell them, when you join me, you get all this cool stuff, man. We got a lead system for you. So you can talk to friends and family if you want to, but we got a lead system for you. We've got a sales system for you. We've got a delivery system for you. We've got a resell, upsell. And these are things that as a team, we've already been working on and developing. So you are not just entering this thing blind. In fact, you're entering this with a lot more answers than if you were just to join Joe Schmo downline instead. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to you. Those are the 4 key systems. You got to have them. Otherwise, you remain the system and it's never truly an asset. So hopefully it's helpful. Let me know what you think about this down below. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. In fact, literally before starting this video, I was like, man, what should I talk about today? Like I want to answer whatever questions you guys have, and your prompts, I actually do use them. So let me know how I can help. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much for listening, subscribing, and I'll continue to document my journey towards recruiting my next 1,000 people in a brand new downline from scratch. Bye guys.